Welcome to Twinkieland. This is Twinkie. I'm sitting here today with Ruhl of Every Mother's Nightmare.
What's up?
It's time for some straight talk on life, music, and whatever else pops up. It's time for Twinkieland.
Alright guys, so I'm sitting here with Ruhl of Every Mother's Nightmare. Long time, I would say friend, one of my mentors. It's my first episode of Twinkieland that y'all gonna be seeing at twinkienation.com and here also on Twinkieland, the YouTube page. Got a new record, came out this past Friday, October 23rd. And I'm digging it completely.
I'm digging it.
Rick's digging it. I know you're all out there digging it. And also, I'll just put that out front.
Resurrect the Faithful.
Resurrect the Faithful. Go to emnrocks.com. Check it out there if you haven't checked out the record yet. But today we'll sit down with Rick. Going to kind of pick his brain a little bit, talk to him, about the record and other little things, and give y'all some little stories too. Talk to me about the new record. Give me a little insight.
The new record, the inside. It's probably the most real thing that I've ever written. It is. It wasn't. Didn't see it in any way of being, heavy metal, rock and roll, whatever. Hair, whatever. It's just music that we dug. All five of us wrote it, and fought over it, and kicked each other in the ass over it. When we first started writing this thing, we said everybody down just like this, and I just said I wanted to do everything on this record as different, all the way down to the punches coming into songs, type of songs, doing 3 tags on choruses and then falling into verses different, and just really thought about making it different. Didn't want to do another grind and didn't want to do another, Southern way, whatever. So just rolled into it as wide open as we possibly could, and best thing I've done. As far as the band as a group is the best thing we've done. Alan's first record, he's excited about it. I'm excited about it.
Tell me, all right, so I know we started off with the idea of the record being called Frey.
Right.
And we changed it around, so is there any reasons behind that there?
The basic reason was Resurrect the Faithful. The song was something that Gunnar had written, and one night here where we were writing, we were playing pieces of it when we just started writing it, and I don't know, me and Troy just started messing with Gunnar on this chorus a little bit, so we started changing it, and I was just hanging out with Troy. Troy was like, man, we got to change it right here. We were just picking on Gunnar a little bit, and then it became where I was like, yeah, man, we got to change it right here. And then it turns out it was one of the last songs I recorded because what we changed was such a pain in the ass for me to write something to. I couldn't think of nothing. And the night of the studio, I was there. I kept singing it, trying to sing something to it. Didn't even have really Resurrect the Faithful. And I just went in the studio, told him I went in control room and said, it ain't gonna happen tonight, it's just not coming. And so I went home, and me and my boy Gabe were cooking macaroni and cheese or some shit, and I was sitting there cooking and talking to Gabe, and Gabe's my kid, and we were just shooting the shit, and dropped out a line and started doing the verse, and dropped out a line in the chorus, and just started going, Resurrect the Faithful, and I was right there. I was like, there you go. So I finished cooking macaroni and cheese and sang it about 4,000 more times, and I called the studio before anybody left, and I said, I'm gonna run back down there and give me 2-3 more passes. If we're not close, good, or in the ballpark of where we need to be, we'll can it and roll on out. So I run back down the studio. Luckily, it's right behind my neighborhood back here, so went in there and went in and told Dave. I said, man, just let me burn through it a couple of times, and just started doing the chorus, and just everything else just fell into place. So, you know, there's something wrong inside my head. Just something wrong in my head. You know, when we got done with it, I liked it. You know, it was for the longest time when we were writing and recording, especially recording. It was my least favorite song because I couldn't get nothing written for it. And then the night I did Resurrect the Faithful, I come in there and everybody heard it, and I wasn't real sure about Resurrect the Faithful, but I figure there's a lot of rockers at heart still out there and still just want some gut rock and roll, and I was like, yeah, man, you know, Resurrect the Faithful. And I went down there and did it, and Dad came out and I said, what do you think? And Dave goes, we're recording. And I finished it that night, did all the verses and everything, and did it. And when I got done, we were sitting there listening to it and called Bill Chavis. And I said, man, I think we're going to change the name. And he was, I don't know, you know, and he finally came down because I wouldn't let him listen to none of the songs until, I mean, every night we were writing, he would go, Ruhl, give me a song. I was like, I can't do it, Bill. I said, you just got to trust me and know that it's pretty cool, it's different, and it's heavy, but it's got lots of melody in it. Anyway, after we listened back to it, and the band was sold, and then Chavis came down and heard it, and he was like, Resurrect the Faithful, man. And ever since I did that title, it was like my friend Eric Hernandez, he came down to take the band photo. You know, he was just driving to the studio to meet us to do it, and we were gonna all have dinner and shit. And he passed a little cemetery, you know, on the way to the studio, coming right here in Bartlett, you know, Germantown Road or something. I never even knew it was there. And he said, man, there's a cool little place up here, let's go up here and take a shot. And so I just jumped in the car when we were leaving. We were gonna go eat somewhere in the fucking road over there, and the coolest places. The picture, you know, with the tree all around us, it's one that ended up being on the record. You know, it's just, that's the way. Ever since Resurrect the Faithful came out, everything kind of just
twisted
fell that way. You know, so divine intervention or something. But you know, I'm grateful. You know, I don't write shit down, so when I go in there, I say it. It's in the air till it's in there. So and that's. When it's down, and it just, God kind of struck me with a couple of good lines on this record that I'm pretty happy with, so all good.
So basically,
that's it.
It's kind of just one of those things that changed up the gut.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Frey, that's one of my favorite songs on the record, but there's this metal, when I was doing the welding, there's this metal wire, then when it breaks off, it frays out into these real sharp things, and you grab it and it sticks through your fingers, and it's like the worst hurt, pain, and that's kind of what the song Frey was kind of leaning towards when I was writing it. You know, there's the feeling of that most awful feeling, jabbing in your finger, and you know, that was the name. I just wanted it to be Frey, and nobody really understood Frey much, but I did because it hurts like hell. So.
To me.
That's how it went. And that's where we came to. Marijuana break. Thank you.
So basically, going into there, we're talking about the new record. Like some of my favorites on the record is "Sin in My Heart."
Sin in My Heart.
Frey, of course. You know,
I sold Troy on Frey on Sin in My Heart when I walked out of the studio, and I've been humming that thing all for days, kind of, and I was just coming out of the studio. I said, Troy, he was standing on the side of it, and I said, I got this new song we need to record. And I said, it's called Sin in My Heart. And he goes, man, you sold me with the name. So I was like, good deal, I'm in. He goes, I'm in. I said, all right, good deal.
Like, now, the other song there I liked was When It Goes Away.
Yeah.
And
that's one of my favorite.
You know, since I've known you, listened to all the records throughout time, you always had, like, you know, one of my favorites from back in the day was always, you know, Hello Darkness.
Hello Darkness.
And that song goes very, very deep, which I might talk about one day. But I was in a dark part of my life, and I was listening to that song one night, and that's where I had kind of a big turn in my life too because of that song.
Well, that's what they're for, man.
But when it goes away, I was listening to that. I mean, you always get kind of deep, and I think that's a
That's
pretty
the deepest
deep
I ever
lyric.
got. Yeah, when I came out of to sing that song, it took me probably 3 times to go through the second verse for sure, without fucking getting choked up and shit, because it was pretty. As soon as I got done with that song, I opened the door into the control room from the singing booth, and everybody was just sitting there looking at me, giving me this look like, and I just said, "That's what's happening at my house," and I just shut the door. Everybody looked cool, but yeah, man, that song could have very easily went in a different direction, and I'm not going to say what direction, but I did not want it to be anything like happy or roses or anything that would have to do with that. When John came to track it the night when we were laying it down, John Gunnery came in there and he was playing it, and he was just in the best of moods, and I kept going, "No, man, no, that ain't where it's at. That ain't where I'm at." And he kept going, and finally I did it long enough where I pissed him off, and he came back and goes, "Man, I was in a good mood till I got here." I said, "Fucking perfect." I said, "Now you're where I want you to be." So, yeah, that song means a whole lot to me. I still, when we do it at rehearsal, it chokes me up. It chokes my friend Ziggy, who makes guitars for me. It chokes him up every time he hears it. You know, it's just every song on this record is. At one time, everybody in this band was within 10 feet of something that happened or went on in every song on this record. So except for Love, you know.
Yep.
And but everybody's got their own meanings.
Well, keep going that too. So like Love Make You Blind, 2020. Kind of give us some background on that one there, on how you feel, you know, because you know a lot of people will always say, like, you know, when somebody remakes a song, always people always like about it and stuff like that. But you know, I mean, you talked about it before, but you had kind of a reason why you want to do it.
Oh man, there's giant reasons. I mean, there's for one, we play it a little bit different. This band here is totally different than the original band, but we play it not notey different or anything like that, if that's the right way to say that, but. We just play it a little different. We've kind of vamped it up to 2020, 21, whatever, COVID era, COVID state. But I just really want to do a good version of it, because when I did my first record, I played 13 shows. I had damn near $1 million record deal, and all I knew then was I wanted a record deal. I didn't know about the other part of the record deal, because if you're gonna have the record deal, you gotta have the songs to back it up. It was a great song, good song. It took me from living in a 10 by 20 store all, using the bathroom in a paper cup, to you know, getting to go all over everywhere. You know, it took me from there and got me into this nice rehearsal place.
Gotcha, makes sense there.
But I mainly wanted to do it just because the first record we were just raw kids. We just turned loose with you know, $300,000 or $400,000 to burn on a record, and we burned it and partied and lived like there was no tomorrow, and that's what you're supposed to do when you know,
yep, that
age. You know, 2 guys just got out of high school, and we played 13 shows. We got to deal with Arista, and but you know, all comes back to the song. And I've never had, ever since I've had record deals, I've had most of my record deals. The biggest thing I did with Clive Davis, I'd go in the studio, we'd be there for months, you know, so it wasn't a big deal. But after all the stupid money spending went, you know, you go in a studio and do a record. Our last record, we were in there tracking, you know, 3, 5, 6 songs a day, and then you got to move on, and the next day's guitars, and you get like 2 weeks. And you know, I got with Bill Chavers from HighVol, and he was like, I told him I went down to the studio, and we did Breathe was the first song we recorded, the last song we wrote, but first song we recorded, because just because I was going to a new studio. I knew Dave Cowell was a great producer, him and Matt Montgomery, and they just built a studio right behind my neighborhood, and everybody was talking about how good it was. And my buddy Ziggy, he was down there doing some work on the studio, and he kept telling me they wanted me to come down. So one night I just went down and sat on the couch, and they were playing me stuff, and they finally turned around and looked at me and said, you know, if you do your next record here, it'll sound this big and cost this much. And I was like, okay. So we Breathe was almost finished. We was probably 3/4 away. We was probably at the bridge or somewhere on it, but we were just kind of writing with it. And so instead of finishing it, we booked a week down at Supernova, and we went in there and showed them what we had to Breathe, and they were digging everything on it. And that's where, you know, Dave Cowell's producer hat come in. I said, now, you know, put it in some kind of order. You know, he's one of the new kids, so he's got a different thing on the way that we used to record anyway. Mm-hmm. And so we just let him put his producer hat on, and we worked the song. And like I said, the song was pretty much 3/4 written, just trying to get out of the bridge, into the last chorus and finish it out. But he did a couple of little things, and we changed it, and came back a week later, and the song was good, and sent it to Bill, and Bill was fucking shitting over it. So he called me like a week later and goes, man, I just booked you 9 weeks in Supernova. I was like, fuck, 9 weeks, you know. I can do a lot in 9 weeks, you know. So, but, you know, the whole thing, with all that, you know, that's kind of the way the whole record went. But getting back to Luck You Make You Blind, I did it for me, I did it for fans that have been around, and I just wanted everybody, you know, everybody that comes to see us, all the fans that we've had forever, that every time we play, they come out. And we just played it a little different, so I just wanted to do a version for the fans, an updated version. And this is not really this band's version of that song. This is, you know, this band's interpretation of that song. We changed a couple little things and just brought it up to date a little bit, and you know, just made it cool. You know, just how many times did you get to go back and record? For me, my biggest song, I get to go do it again, and you know, they'll never be perfect, but it's like, damn, you don't never get to do that. And my guys in my band, I asked them, you know, I didn't just say we're going to do this. I went in the studio and I said, y'all care if I do this? Because it was kind of coming up on when I first recorded it, and just a bunch of things come into play. But I asked them, and they said, man, whatever you want to do, sir. We jumped in there and played it the way we did it, and changed it, and here we are today, talking about it. And I like it. Now I can listen to it and, you know.
Feel better about it.
Feel better about it.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts of it is where the harmony and the solo.
Yeah, man.
That was a cool thing there. And speaking of Breathe, I'll say this on record, completely with this. You know, I was jelly of the second verse because I was like,
that's one of the
my
guidelines.
prior band up a Superstar, which Rick is actually wearing on the shirts. You know, I was doing my whole thing there, and I was like, man, I wish I would have came up with that. That line was killer. But you always been good at coming up with them, you know, the lines.
That
like
line,
that, so.
like I said, this whole record, the lines just kept, I'd get down. It has a lot to do with Dave's studio. It's still comfortable, man. I was in my pajamas and house shoes for 2 weeks and thing. But you know, you just go in there and it's just like, you know, everybody's cool, everybody's sitting in there. Go outside, catch your little buzz, go in and do your thing. And you know, he said, he goes, I've been doing this for a lot of years. He goes, I ain't never seen nobody just come in and start, you know, I'll go in there and say, hey man, let me burn through it a couple times, and then we'll start, you can start seeing stuff what I got. And you know, because it changes every single time we go through there. It's pretty, almost the same, but the phrasing's all different. And I banged out a couple on there and on Breathe, and he was like, that's pretty cool, man, you know. And I was like, damn, that's pretty cool, you know.
And the video, like I said, the video was cool too.
Kicked in the ribs since I was 17. I'm white trash. There's no
class.
I'm white trash, no class, and there's no vaccine.
I was like, that was perfect. I was like, gosh, that was a great line. So basically, I guess to get in there too, like I said, I kind of said what some of my faves were out there. Like I said, you can go to mnrocks.com. You also jump over to HighVolMusic. Check out their website there. Keep a bill. They have the merch store on there. You can get, t-shirts. You can pre-order the CDs.
You can go to
the
YouTube
vinyl.
and watch the new video.
Do that also. Go on there. Breathe is the newest video that's out right now. It's a really cool video. I'll put a link actually into the broadcast too, where you can go check that out.
And thanks to all y'all for the hits, man. I think we were real close to 200,000. So
it climbed. I was like,
very cool.
I was amazed when I was there watching it
Thank
climb every day. Again, to one other thing there is with the new record. So you guys plan on going out? I know after this COVID crap's done, and going to try to do this. I think you're going to take the documentary, which that's also available on YouTube. The documentary while they cut the record.
Here's to the Ones, the documentary. Yeah.
That was a really cool documentary. So they're going to go out on the road with that. So this COVID crap gets done, and we all hope it gets done soon.
Well, I think what we're going to do on the documentary, we're going to do like a 5 or 6 city thing where we go to like a little place, just a little club and
More intimate.
yeah, more intimate, and we're going to play the documentary, or actually we're going to go in and have a hangout session for a while, listen to the new record, then we're going to play the new record and whatever other songs we just do a little jam for a minute, and then we're going to let the documentary play and hang out with crowds, or just a little documentary tour where we can just go out and hang out and meet some people, because that little thing, I didn't even want to do a documentary because everyone I seen was 84 hours long, and you can only watch guys go and do stuff in the studio so long. So
That's true.
So we just made it short and sweet. It's here and now. It's not a documentary from the beginning to the end. It's just the here and now of us 5 guys doing this Resurrect the Faithful record. A little bit of insight on the band, how we write, how we record, and how stupid we are in some points, and how big of a country redneck that I am. So, it turned out to be a very cool thing, and the song that it's titled after is called "Here's to the Ones," and that's everything that we raise off of this song, and this video that we're getting ready to put out is going to go to like Wounded Warrior folks, because I'll tell you the whole story on how that song came about on our next quest.
All right, sounds good to me. All right, so that's covering stuff on the new record. Like I said, once again, you go check it out. Get it, EMN Rocks. It's on all the platforms. Spotify, you can stream it there. You go buy iTunes, Amazon. It's available in all those places. It's also available on the website. You got the hard copy. That's the way I like to do it. With that CD,
copy.
Sounds so much better. You can jam it. So check it all out.
He likes that hard copy.
So right now, I figure we'll just kind of get in, into like some current event stuff going on, stuff like that. Kind of more get in your head, other than just completely band stuff.
All right.
So this right here. So the first one I'll say is like, with the current line of music coming out now, like ain't got a whole lot of good rock and roll really hitting, but it's starting to hit now. So currently, with rock and stuff like that, music, stuff like that, musically, what's out right now current, what would be something right now that you're digging into?
Well, I've been digging on it for a while, but I tend to dig into something when I start digging something, I like it for a long time. I got to really listen to all of it, but I've been listening to Hell Yeah, a lot of that. I just like the dude, the singer. I like the way his words. I like the way he puts stuff. Moth to a Flame, just there's a plethora of great songs.
Back on Ass was great too.
Oh yeah, I mean, just the band in general is that's the kind of shit I like. But there's a lot of things out there. There's a lot of local Memphis bands right now that are pretty cool that are got to come out. And, it's music cool right now. Because it ain't, and why it's cool is because it's not spoon-fed to every, not to say nothing bad about radio, but for a long time you had to do a certain thing just to be on the radio, and you still kind of do, but the internet made it, when I was growing up, you had to go out and find a record. You heard about a Van Halen record or heard about AC/DC records, you had to go to a music store and dig through a box and find a thing, and then, still not for sure until you got home and it kicked ass, and you're like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yep. That's kind of where music is. I think it's gotten back to it a little bit anyway. That's why I didn't want to write this record like us. It's Southern because you can't get more Southern than me. And all my guys are pretty much Southern. The ones that are not have been transposed where they are now. Yep. But, and now I'm high, so I'll talk for an hour.
I like the elements of the band, though, when you go into it now, like you got like Troy. Troy, has that stance. Troy's a badass bass player. Period. Then you got like Gunner, and Gunner's over there, just kind of he's got that meat. And he's doing his leads and stuff too. But now you got John in the fold, and John is just like this, what would you call it? Like a magician or something of like a sorcerer or something on the guitar.
He's crazy. He's nuts.
So you got a Viking, a sorcerer, and you got the Gunner over there.
You gotta have one of every. That's how chemistry works, man. You gotta have a basket case, and you gotta have a smart one, and a one that's just totally out there, and one that gets along with everybody, and then you got Alan that'll beat the shit out of anybody that don't like it.
And that's what I'm saying. Like even Alan, I've been following the band for a long time, so I've been a couple of drummers. And then Alan comes in, and Alan, is known here in the Memphis area, but he's one of the musicians here I've never really got to know.
I lived down the road from him, probably less than 2 miles, 3 miles, and I'd never met him ever, never even ran into him, never seen him until I was asking, what's his name, I can't even think of his name now, but he was the only person I asked about drummers, and Wayne, guitar player Wayne for Fast Mothers.
Wayne Walker.
Wayne Walker. Yeah. He's the only person I call. I said, man, do you know any good drummers? And he's like, Alan Bone. And they were all hanging out at this little club down the road, Hadley's, one night, and I went down there. Fast Mothers were hanging out or playing or something, and met him, and we didn't even talk about drums. I forgot he was a drummer then, and he came over. We had another cat in here trying out, and we'd been 3 days and we hadn't made it through the first song yet. And then Alan came in on a Wednesday and we played 5 straight off the bat, and then made it through probably 8 altogether. And then the next night he just, by the third time I played with him, I was like, you're in. Well, if you want the gig, you got it.
He's a hard hitter too. That's one thing. Like when I saw him, like he got them heavy, hands.
Oh man, he thinks, man. When he was writing this record, he did the most genius thing he came up with was, and when it goes away, the drum beat was just straight, and it would just, that song could very easily go into a ballad mode or whatever you want to call it, and it wasn't that kind of a sad, and he changed the whole drum beat. I got to the studio and I was listening to it. I said, "That's genius, man!" It come down almost to me where me and him were doing it together. And I was like, that's why I let them. They do their thing in the studio. That's writing and creating, and that's what's kick ass.
True there. So the other thing I was going to ask you too is, let everybody kind of know out there, like, I know some of them, but give me some of the influences for you coming up. Like I know like Alice Cooper, stuff like that, but...
God, man, everything from Alice Cooper to, it just it went from Cooper to Kiss to, Van Halen to, on down the road, Priest, Ozzy, just everything, everything that everything that everybody, you know, dug, anybody that, you know, you grew up listening to going, you know, you dig, you know, that's what you do. You take the shit you dig from your bands that you did growing up, and you start doing this shit, and then you start writing stuff, and you kind of put your, you know, whatever they did reminds you of something, you know, and that's it. You know?
Like Cinema Heart.
Cinema Heart. Cinema Heart.
When you let me hear that the first time, that's what I kind of, the way you're kind of delivering the vocal in the first verse, I kind of felt a little Alice Cooper a little bit.
That's definitely, I mean, it's definitely Alice Cooper, Van Halen, and a bunch of things, you know. I can't even tell you where the three punches at the beginning of Breathe came from, because, or not where they came from, but I heard a song and it got me on that mode, and it was like, you know, I was listening to, for a while I was listening to just nothing but hardcore country, like, you know, Johnny Cash, you know, I took it one piece at a time, didn't cost me a dime, just a hardcore country shit, and I got onto this one song, and it got me to the, you know, that's Cinema Hearts is, you know, that's the, that's all it is. The whole idea of the fucking song was I lay in bed and go, man, I cannot fucking believe I did that. I can't believe I'm still alive from that. I can't, whatever. And it translates all the way down to my daughter or me or you or just anything that you've done. You just going to hell for that one, you know.
Now the other thing that, like I said, with the band too, that's kind of new, is the harmonies. Like, cause you know, you always had kind of like Troy there doing backs, but now we got Alan back there too. So like Cinema Hearts, another good example. You got like this cool, like, you know, groovy harmonies in the background on the hook.
Oh man, we tried all kind of different things. You know, we got me and Alan and Troy and John. John's singing, you know, a bunch of other stuff, and man, we just the coolest thing about it is when the COVID thing hit, we were recording, and right when it hit at its hardest, we were pretty much mixing and waiting on the record to come back. So all this extra time we had, you were here at rehearsal the other night, man. We've been honing this fucking thing in, man, and we're hunting bear. You know, we're loaded for.
Well, that's what I can say. Like I've heard the record now. You know, let's take first off the bat, and it got kind of brief.
Don't let him lie. He was here the other night. And his mouth was open. He was going, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I came in rehearsal, so I can tell you folks this: when COVID ends, they're back on the road. I can guarantee you, them harmonies that you hear on the record, they're hitting it.
Oh, we're doing it
live too. So I mean, that's one thing I like from seeing a band. Like, you hear harmonies on the record, and then you get there live, you don't hear them harmonies, but y'all are actually pulling it off even in a live sense.
Well, that was the most important thing on any record I do. If we can't pull it off without no help from whatever assist or whatever, then we don't need to do it. You know,
but a lot of people don't get that.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people out there doing humongous shows, and I know where they're coming from. They want it to be the best it can be every night, but you know, one of the reasons I ever went to see Aerosmith and Steven Tyler and people, because they were doing it for real, and you know, Wednesday night he might have felt like $100 bill, but when I saw him on Tuesday he might have felt like $40, you know, but he still busted it and gave it every bit of everything he had, and that's what I really go to see a band do, is, you know, do it, whether, you know, right or wrong, just do it, don't fake it, don't, just, you know, that's the whole reason I got into doing this shit, is playing it, you know, you write it, somebody digs it, that's, it's a feeling, it's a drug feeling that you don't get from any kind of drug, and that's probably why most musicians that write their own shit end up doing drugs, because when they're not doing that, they're trying to find something to maybe. Yeah. I just like marijuana, but.
That's a good way to bring up this here. So, one other part I want to get in and talk about, like I said earlier in the video here, talk about like Rick to me is like one of my my mentors, I call them. I look at them as a mentor, especially musically. So I kind of tell y'all a story about when I first met the guy. So I was good friends with their, I guess you can call it their stage manager.
Road manager, stage manager, everything manager.
He used to come and see me in the club. I was DJing it, and he would bring me their records up. And that's basically how I got to know. I've been listening to the guy since I was younger when I bought the first record, but this is how it kind of came in the fold of me meeting like Rick and everybody. So at first I actually thought Paisan, I thought he was a member of the band. I thought he was like somebody who actually played in the band.
He's somebody.
He most definitely was somebody in the band, but you know, I thought he was like somebody, a player in the band. And he'd come up see me, and I load him up free beer all night long and hook him up with chicks and stuff, you know, back then. He was single back then, you know. But basically, they come in town, Rick's on the bus, everybody's on the bus. So the first time, I won't go too much in that one, but they parked up by Platinum, and I got to hang out with a couple people in the band that night on the bus. And then they went back out on the road, and they came back and did a show here at Newbies. So their road manager at the time, I actually came and got him from the bus, and I took him to a hotel. I had a hookup at a hotel back in the day. And I met numerous people in those places because I had a really good hookup. I knew the nighttime audit guy, so I get your room for next to nothing. So I put him in there. He calls me the next morning, and he says, "Hey, can you drop me off over here? But also, can you take Rick a Whopper and cheese from Burger King?"
He's a bacon double cheeseburger and chocolate shake.
So I was like, "Sure, man, sure." So I go by Burger King. I head over on Highland at Newbies, and I knock on the tour bus door, and I believe the driver's still on it, but he was in the back lounge. He's the only person on the bus that day. And I walked to the back of the bus, and
I was naked.
he was naked with like something wrapped around him, and I said, "Hey, Rick, I got your Whopper with cheese." And Rick turned around at me, he pulled it over, showed me his buddy, goes, "I got your Whopper with cheese right here, motherfucker." And I was like, "Wow, okay, we're here." And then he looked at me and he says, "Oh, what's your name?" I said, "My name's Twinkie." And he goes, "You some kind of rapper or something?"
I said, "Yeah, I'm some kind of rapper."
So that's how I first met Rick. And then that night they played a show, and that's another funny story going off on what you're saying there. I know you was kind of feeling down a little bit on the weather, like the weather kind of got you a little bit,
yeah,
cold or something. And there's opening. I can't remember the band that opened that night, but the kid. He had kind of arrogance to him.
No, you ain't got to tell this story now.
But the cool thing was, the manager called me and said, "Hey, can you stop by the store and grab Rick a bottle of Jack?" You know, it's like, "Sure." So I get you a bottle of Jack, and I show up, and you walk up into the thing, and the kid looks at you, you're smoking a cigarette. You got cut off shorts. You have...
It was 15 degrees outside.
It was like literally like 15 degrees outside. You had like some gloves on, and your leather jacket, and you walk in, this kid looks at you and goes, "Man, that's not good for your voice." And you said, "Watch and learn, son." You walked on stage, did your sound check.
There ain't nothing to learn from me, son.
But I mean, to me, that was awesome. You know, you got up there, you kicked ass, you wasn't feeling good, went back out the bus, you rested up, and they came in and gave everybody the show that night.
That's exactly what I was saying about $50 a night and $100 a night.
So that's why I brought that up, because I mean, that kind of hits on that thing there. And that right there is when I first technically met you after that, because you did that there. We hung out after the show, and you had the studio next to Newbies at the time. You was building.
Right.
So I was like, "Hey, man, I need to get in the studio." And they all went many different directions there. I kept Rick in the studio for many nights.
Yeah. I made him sing stuff a bunch.
But it was all good times, great memories.
I'm gonna tell you about you, Twinkie. I met Twinkie. He'd send me songs all the time. He'd call me up. "I'm gonna send you a song." And he writes songs. He sends me, and he goes, "Tell me what you think." So, and he didn't want me to be a damn ass kisser or nothing. So I would tell him, "This part's cool. This what?" Anyway, so he wrote this song and sent it to me one day. I called him back. I was like, "That's the best song you ever written right there." And he was sitting there and he was, "Man, this song's cool and this and that. Man, if I just had a name, I just need a name for my band." And he was sitting there trying to think of all these names. And the name of the song was Nutbush Superstar. And I was like, man, you got the coolest name in the whole world right here. You are the Nutbush Superstar. Be the Nutbush Superstar. And he is, and he's going to be. He's getting ready to do some new shit. And I'm going to make him do it too, because now he done told me his idea, and I done jumped on with him. But he is, Twinkie is he's been around a lot of years, and he took a lot of ass bustings, and he takes his whippings when he does bad things good.
Yeah, I mean, that takes the way to do it. You own it.
You might as well take the ass whipping.
Yep. But anyway, guys, hope you all guys enjoyed the interview.
I embarrassed him.
No embarrassment here. But best of all, hope you enjoyed the interview. I know I enjoyed it. Like I said, I love sitting down and having, hearing stories from Rick and stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, check out the record. Give it a listen.
Resurrect the Faithful.
Resurrect the Faithful. Check out their website. This right here will be available on the YouTube Twinkieland. Also, if you'd like to get the audio file of it, like if you're sitting at work or at the gym, just listen to
Or
it.
in the bathtub. Or...
The audio file will be available at twinkienation.com on my website. You have the audio file and the video file, so give it a listen that way. Once again, emnrocks.com. Check the stuff out there. It's right here up on YouTube. If you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell. And this is Twinkieland signing out. Twinkie and Rick Ruhl.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you'll know when it's time to get back to Twinkieland.